The South African Revenue Service is urging South Africans to help fight illicit trade. Illegal deals in clothing, textile, tobacco, as well as fuel is causing significant damage to the economy. SARS is working towards re-establishing an investigative unit to deal specifically with the issue. Acting Commissioner Mark Kingon joins us now to discuss this and perhaps one or two other issues currently making news. Mark Kingon, thank you very much for your time. What would you say is perhaps the single biggest obstacle to fighting this scourge?
Well, the scourge is people who think it is right to undervalue goods in importation or to sell goods where they haven't paid the requisite duty. So the obstacle is people just simply not doing what's right. People thinking they can simply steal from the fiscus is the biggest obstacle.
Now, establishing an investigative unit, is that going to solve all or most of your problems, or are you going to need to have to do several other things for which you will have to rely on other stakeholders, including, of course, communities?
Vuyo, that's an important issue. Yes, the unit is one area that we're establishing which will deal in a coordinated fashion end to end with all aspects of the illicit economy, whether it's with regards to tobacco, whether it's regards to fuel, clothing and textiles, and there's a number of others that are out there. But it goes way beyond that. It goes into our customs space to ensure that the goods that we are stopping in terms of the teams that look at, in terms of the risks at borders, are stopping the right containers to evaluate, that we are training our staff more effectively to understand when people are undervaluing goods or incorrectly classifying goods to get around the duties that are payable. So it goes beyond the unit, it goes to training, enabling our staff to do far more effective investigations and audits in terms of all areas of our organization.
Now, we spoke, I think it was last week, to the Consumer Council, who, excited as they were that they were now receiving cooperation from the police as well as other stakeholders, but including the DTI. But what they were also saying was that the measures that they believe may go a long way towards helping with this problem are going to be, one, very expensive to implement, and secondly, they may just be cumbersome, especially where small businesses are concerned.
I don't think that the things that we are talking about are expensive to implement or cumbersome to implement. We believe that many of the things are simply changing the way we do our basic work within the organization, and we believe it will yield an improved result. Yes, there are some technological solutions that are required to track certain goods, for instance, tobacco products, that we need to understand where their origin is. But that's not the immediate. The immediate is to ensure we get the basics right, which simply means applying our people correctly.
Well, having to track, the life and journey of a product, for example, there may be areas where, let's say, spaza shops are involved, where it may just be difficult, if not impossible, to actually track, those goods. I think that's what they, in part, were referring to.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to make criminals of the end person selling the good, where you can buy a packet of cigarettes for 10 Rand where the duty is 17 Rand 85. Behind them are some wholesalers that might be providing these goods. There are producers that are producing the goods illicitly. There are import agents importing with the wrong codes. That's where we must target, not the end person. We're not talking of putting our SARS employees to go down to the little spaza shop. That's not the focus. The focus are the middle people in the processes of these products.
Well, allow me to take advantage of you being here and ask you a few things that have been in the news recently, starting with the finance minister telling us that you may not be able, SARS that is, to meet your revenue targets after all.
The target, and the minister keeps reminding me and my staff, 1.345 billion, 1.345 trillion rand that we need to collect. I don't think we are giving up in terms of making that target. I think that there is so much fruit, for that matter, low-hanging fruit in certain circumstances, that we can still pick. We're sitting with a debt book of over 140 billion, so there's many people owing us money. So there's much more we can still do to ensure that we try and reach that target. And we are 6 months into the year. There's a long way in the year to go before we can say we will not make that target.
Okay, we've also heard, from what has come through from the Nugent Commission, that, you are now sitting with that operational structure that has apparently created chaos at SARS. You would have been at the receiving end of that as the person who is currently responsible. Has it been as damaging as what we're hearing coming out of the Commission?
We welcome the Commission, and both myself and my colleagues at SARS are committed to fully cooperate with the Commission. We want to see a stronger SARS at the end of the day, Vuyo. And yes, much being stated is damaging. We understand that, but we are cooperating with the Commission, and in the end, we want to see SARS come out stronger. So we're not waiting, for instance, with the re-establishment of the illicit units, the re-establishment of a proper service offering to large business. And there are other areas that I'd like to properly service. For instance, estates. I'd like to properly service estates where we're not doing it today. We're not waiting for the Commission to get those things on the road and deal with them properly. So yes, a lot of damage, yes, that has been stated and shared at the Commission, but we are looking forward to the end game, which is a successful SARS.
And for a change, it is the taxman who may get a return from Bain and a company, a refund, that is. Are you going to leave it there?
Well, that's a matter of engagement and part of the legal processes that we'll follow in terms of engaging with them. As I have said publicly already, Vuyo, earlier this week, I have not engaged Bain post the release that they made over the weekend, and I am seeking to engage with them to understand how we take this process forward. SARS paid the money in terms of the amounts paid to Bain. And if they were to be refunded, I think it would be appropriate goes to the source.
Another quick one, Mark, before I let you go. It seems you have gone easy on people like author Jacques Paul, who is the author of The President's Keepers. What's behind that, or what are you trying to do? Well,
thanks for you, and I thought that question may come. With regards to the litigation that we've been involved in. For you, my commitment is to be involved in litigation on my core mandate, which is tax collection, my core mandate, which is tax collection. That is my focus. The peripheral litigation with regards to defamation or stuff being allegedly leaked or not allegedly leaked, it goes down rabbit warrens and detracts me from my mandate. And that's what I'm committed to, and hence I have been sorting out these matters that have remained.
Mark Kingon, thank you very much for your time this evening. He is, of course, the acting commissioner of the South African Revenue Service.